Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today's topic, I'm going to talk a little bit about body condition score. That is a number that is published. You can find it on the internet. Just type in beef cattle body condition score. And the numbers go from basically 1 to 9. 1 being basically that's a cow that's walking around on its last days. It's going to fall over and die. 9 would be a cow that's really obese. Probably a cow that is not sucking the calf. She is not lactating, and she's being fed possibly all the feed that she can eat. Those type cows just get really fat, and they basically fail to breed because they're too fat. What we're looking for is cattle that stay in that 5 to 7 range, especially right now where we are in the middle of August. You don't want your cattle really thin. I don't know if we've got a thin one in here to show you as an example of what would be thin. I can show you a lot of animals that are in the right condition. That's a nice little heifer there. She's got some wrinkles on her tail head. She's going to winter really well. So when I say fat, I'm not talking about obesity. I'm talking about animals that have a good body condition on them. And people say, well, you shouldn't be calling animals fat. Well, as a livestock person, and you're on grass, and you're managing these animals, you want them to be plump. You don't want bones sticking out and looking down their backbones, like right here on this animal. You shouldn't be able to see any bones sticking up out of that hide. And there is none. 98, you are beautiful. You like to see the wrinkles in the neck, just good flesh all the way through the animal. If they don't have that in August, they're not magically going to have it in December, January, February. So the reason you want your animals to have that body condition of 7 is they can use up some of that fat when the weather gets cold. And so like 841 here, she's just... Well, she's like all the rest of them. She's just a really nice looking animal. She's got good condition. Starting at the tail head, you can see the 3 wrinkles right there. She's got a pretty good fat deposit right on each side of that tail. You can see that big wrinkle of fat there on the back. Her brisket's filled out nice. Just got a really nice hair coat on her. And she's going to winter well. Okay, that's a heifer. Now you move on up. This is a little cow right in 21. Yeah, you're a first calf heifer too. Here's an older cow right here. She's just 232. You're a brute. Big old fat cow. I said fat. I like animals to be fat, not obese. But you're talking about the difference from, okay, so from 5 to 7, body condition score. So 7, you can't see any bones anywhere, okay? There should be flesh covering up all the bones. You get down to 5, you can see a little bit of the hip bone and a little bit of the tail bone up there sticking out. You get down below 5, 4, the animal's starting to show a little stress from the winter and possibly from your grass, and they're not going to be doing as well either. Boy, that is a nice heifer right there. Whew. She's a beaut. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. Animals that have a lot of flesh throughout. Animals that don't have a sunken in spot in front of that hip bone right there. You see that bone sticking out, that's hip bone. If there's an impression right there in front of that, that means you're not giving your animals enough to eat. Okay, so in 11 you don't have that, you're getting plenty to eat. And you can see the area underneath their belly. Maybe, there might be a foot of air there, not very much. You don't want a lot of air. My God. Oh, 14, can you even waddle? This year's cat. Yeah. Yeah, so he's in really, really, really good condition. He's just a beautiful animal. That's all grass and milk. So folks, when you get the right genetics, get your genetics matched to your environment, and you can tell which cows are out of their environment are the ones that get thin, and either they're milking too much or they got too much frame to support on the forage that's available on your farm. And if they get thin on grass, and you know, these bulls, there's a bull that's never had a bite of grain in his life. He's been breeding cows for 45 days now, and he's still in just excellent condition, and he never had any grain before he was turned in here. And you know, I'll tell you how goofy I was when I started back in the 80s. I followed the professionals, and everybody said, well, you know, when you take those bulls out of the herd, you got to feed them things. They need some grain, you know, get them fat, so you turn them into breed. That's the worst thing you can do. Get them fat, because there's no grain bucket out here in this pasture with these cattle. And if you're out here feeding grain to your bull before you turn them into your cows, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to go bull melt. They call that bull melt. They just melt because they can't get any grain. They're trying to breed cows, and they can't stay fat and breed a cow. It's ridiculous. But, you know, 75 to probably 90% of all bulls, mainstream anyway, I'm talking conventional, people feed them grain. I did. That's what you do. You feed your bull grain. And you ruin his sperm count on his semen. That's what you're doing. You're building fat into the testicles. And the testicles are a well-balanced, engineered machine. And when you feed them grain, you build all that fat in there. Now they heat up. It gets hot in there, and you start killing sperm. Boy, look at that pair. 016, you are a brute. You got a beautiful, beautiful mama. Look at that. All grass, no grain. Think that calf's getting what he needs? Look at the slobbers on his mouth. That's milk. As the cow eats the grass, and it goes right through into the udder and into her beautiful calf. Folks, that's how you make money in the beef cattle business. It's right there. It's right there in front of me. And you all can do it. So you got to get the right genetics. You got to have the right management. You can't eat your grass down to the ground. Get that body condition score up there 7 before winter approaches. You got a cow that's thin in August, September on grass like this, you need to sell her. Get rid of her. She's telling you that she doesn't belong on your farm. That's why you don't name your animals. You get too emotionally attached to them. There is a ton of feed in here. We had a really wet winter. We had probably more mud this last winter we've ever had, and this is the result. You see the weeds in here. But, you know, if I went in here and chopped all these weeds down before the cattle came in here, I'd have mowed down probably $5,000 worth of grass just on the sides of these hills right here, just in this one paddock. Don't do that. Oh, look at all the birds. Wow. Man, we got the birds. I love that. Oh my gosh. There must be 500 in that group. Those are all cowbirds. They're out there digging. They're eating insects. I love it. It's all a cycle. Now here's a weed right here. This is a common ragweed. Right there. And look what the cattle did to it. They took the tops off of that. Pretty darn good forage, the tops of that. That's just common ragweed. That's not giant. Giant ragweed, they completely strip. But yeah, so watch your cows. Get rid of the ones that don't work. Keep the ones that do and move forward. And, you know, 4 or 5 years of doing that, you're going to have a herd that may look pretty similar to this, depending on how hard you call. Okay? If you call animals, you're going to end up with some pretty good ones. Like that bull right there. He's just a chunk of meat. Little calves here eating this honey locust. Honey locust tree, they're eating the sprout, the leaves off of that. There's a few blackberries here in front of us coming up. We may clip those out just to so they don't go rank on us. You've always got to be watching for areas on your farm that need a little management. You don't need to clip the whole farm, but there's some areas that might get a little bit taller than others or a little ranker. You can get rid of that stuff. It's just going to help open up the canopy for your grass. Well, there's another nice bear. Whew. Yep, doing well. Anyway, I'm going to sign off, and those of you all that are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out. I'd appreciate it. And that like, and we'll see you all down the road. May all your animals be fat and all your grazing be good.